Vince's taunt cut through the polished urban fitness center like a whip, his sneer dripping with malice. "You're a delightful disaster of a gym-goer, darling." He mocked an overweight woman struggling on a treadmill, the weights crashing around her like thunderous artillery. Rubber mats emitted a soft squeak beneath her feet, mirrors glimmering with vibrant neon as she struggled to breathe, her shoulders drooping, eyes filled with a deep sense of shame beneath his mocking laughter. Affluent patrons, reclining with self-satisfied smirks, unleashed their scornful taunts. "Remove the unnecessary burdens." As the air sliced through the tension, the less fortunate remained motionless, fists tightly clenched, their eyes averted in trepidation. The gym's humid pulse came to a halt, the atmosphere a tinderbox of cruelty, each listener captivated by the woman's unfiltered anguish. Jason Statham, lifting weights in the vicinity, dropped his barbell with a resounding clang that reverberated like a gunshot. He advanced with purpose. His voice emerged as a guttural snarl, chilling the atmosphere of the room. "Fall to your knees and plead for her forgiveness, Vince." At once, he let out a thunderous roar. His glare cut through the trainer's smug facade like a sharp blade, silencing the vibrant energy of the gym. Vince, his sculpted physique shimmering beneath the bright lights, let out a hearty laugh. "She's the perfect punchline." His defiance ignited a cacophony from the affluent patrons, their haughty jeers. "Get lost! She is pulling us under." A fierce tempest raged, contrasting sharply with the anxious stillness of the less fortunate client, their fear hanging heavily in the air. Fury blazed like fire in Statham's gaze, his posture a taut warning, hinting at a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the gym. A worker's sharp gasp cut through the tumult, her wide eyes igniting a flicker of justice that foreshadowed Vince's impending downfall. The fitness center vibrated with palpable tension, Vince's laughter a mocking spark, oblivious to the storm gathering strength. Statham's fury, a beast unleashed, stood ready to pounce, captivating listeners with a confrontation set to erupt into a reckoning too powerful to overlook. Before we move forward, be sure to like and subscribe to witness Jason Statham's thrilling showdown with a confident gym trainer, and share your location in the comments below. The polished city gym vibrated with an electric intensity, weights clanging like distant storms, rubber flooring resonating with each stride, mirrors shimmering under a vibrant glow. Sweat clung to the atmosphere, the pounding techno serving as a relentless heartbeat, yet a more sinister pulse simmered beneath the surface. Vince's ego loomed like a raging inferno, tainting the community with the poison of his self-satisfied rule. The sculpted trainer paraded confidently, showcasing his physique for the eager followers capturing selfies, his sharp voice cutting through the noise, declaring that only champions train in this space. He reveled in his triumph, flipping his hair with a flourish, his online persona a dazzling facade that concealed the harshness he inflicted upon the gym's unsuspecting souls, his gaze sparkling with a sinister delight. The fitness center, a bastion of contemporary resilience, loomed as his domain, each clang and exertion a declaration of his undisputed sovereignty, captivating those nearby with an electric tension that hung in the air. A newcomer, her breath quiet and her posture slightly bent, entered the gym with a palpable sense of trepidation. Her gaze flitted over the polished equipment, a glimmer of hope shining through, oblivious to Vince's cruel penchant for preying on the vulnerable for his amusement. Her cautious movements caught his attention, like a predator detecting vulnerability, his grin becoming more pronounced as he approached, the atmosphere heavy with foreboding. Affluent patrons, adorned in high-end fashion, lavished attention on Vince, their self-satisfied smirks echoing a sense of privilege, indulging in protein shakes as if they were nobility. "Vince is the king," one purred, her voice laced with a sense of superiority, while another chuckled, "He sculpts perfection." Their admiration ignited his confidence, a sharp distinction from the less fortunate clients, confined to tattered gear in the shadows, their words stifled by trepidation. "He's a snake," a scrawny teen whispered, his knuckles pale and trembling, eyes flitting nervously to evade Vince's fury. "He preys on the weak," hissed an older woman, her gaze flickering with suppressed rage, their gritty murmurs a quiet rebellion stifled by the trainer's iron grip. The gym's underbelly throbbed with an air of foreboding, each hushed murmur igniting the darkness, a stark contrast to the affluent patron's scornful taunts that were poised to break forth, each utterance drawing the audience further into the gathering tempest. The woman's uncertain strides wavered, her hope a delicate flicker beneath Vince's harsh glare, the atmosphere a powder keg poised to explode with a single misstep. Jason Statham, a veteran of the gym, pushed through his repetitions, his concentration unwavering in the midst of turmoil, each lift a quiet promise. "This place reeks of scum," he muttered, his voice a low, cinematic growl, eyes narrowing as he took in Vince's predatory strut. Weeks spent observing the trainer's antics, his taunts, his swagger, etched themselves into Statham's mind, unvoiced yet intense, his silence a tightly wound spring poised to unleash. The atmosphere in the gym was electric, the woman's entrance a spark that threatened to ignite the tension, while Statham's figure loomed like a storm cloud, prepared to unleash chaos. The fitness center, pulsating with the rhythm of exertion and iron, teetered on the brink of a confrontation. Vince's corrosive dominance a stain ready to collide with a justice too powerful to suppress, captivating every audience with a tale poised to ignite. The polished urban gym vibrated, its reflective surfaces shimmering with vibrant neon, the clang of weights resonating like battle drums as Jason Statham's voice thundered, a powerful force that captivated every individual present. "Fall to your knees and implore her forgiveness. Vince, do it," he growled, his voice slicing through the pulsating beats of the gym's relentless techno. His glare pierced through the trainer's smug facade like a searing beam of light. The woman gripped the treadmill, her eyes a silent plea, frozen in place. The gasp she had stifled moments before transformed into an unvoiced scream as the crowd collectively inhaled, the atmosphere thick with a tension that exploded like a bomb. Rubber mats emitted a sharp screech beneath Statham's boots, his imposing figure a tightly wound spring, every muscle yearning for retribution as the gym's heartbeat faltered, captivating the audience with a confrontation ready to set the evening ablaze. Vince, with a chiseled jaw that gleamed under the lights, threw his head back, unleashing a cackle that dripped with venomous flair. "She's a human landfill," he sneered, his voice laced with a wicked glee, cutting through the air like a knife, piercing the woman's hunched figure. Her trembling hands clutched the machine, seeking solace as if it could somehow protect her from the weight of her humiliation. Affluent patrons, draped in high-end fashion, unleashed a symphony of disdain, their voices rising like a tempest of contempt. "Dump the charity case," a blonde in spandex barked, her smirk cutting like a blade, while a suited bro bellowed, "She's tanking our vibe." Their jeers rang out, a harsh contrast to the stunned silence of the less fortunate client. With jaws clenched and eyes filled with terror, the gym erupted into chaos, their sense of entitlement reflecting Vince's unrestrained dominance, each jeer piercing deeper into the hearts of those who heard. Statham moved forward, his boots thudding against the mats, his growl a deep, dangerous vow that sliced through the turmoil like a blade. "Keep laughing, you'll choke on it," he warned, his menace igniting the air like a spark. His eyes burned with a fury that threatened to turn Vince's empire to cinders. The woman's breath faltered, a hitch escaping her lips as her eyes fixed on Statham, a glimmer of hope wrestling with her fear amidst the erratic pulse of the gym's neon lights, the atmosphere charged with fury and defiance. Vince, unperturbed, leaned in, his chiseled arms taut as he jeered, "I'm the god of this gym, pal, nobody touches me." His laughter, a mocking fire, reverberated against the mirrors, oblivious to the impending chaos. His arrogance ignited like a match in a powder keg, each word stoking the flames of Statham's fury. The gym erupted in chaos, the taunts of the affluent clientele ringing loud, their high-end sneakers pounding in sync, a throng of privilege clamoring for a spectacle. "Toss her out," a tech bro bellowed, his voice a smug dart, while a socialite sneered, "She's dragging us down." Their chants, piercing and exclusive, clashed violently with the poorer client's stony silence, their tightly clenched fists and downcast eyes a muted cry of terror, their anxiety a tangible burden that hung heavily in the atmosphere. A worker, her apron marked by the toil of her labor, emitted a startled cry. "He's calling him out," her voice cutting through the clamor, igniting a flicker of justice that illuminated the gym's shadowy corners, alluding to Vince's impending reckoning without a shred of proof, ensnaring the audience in the brewing tempest. The confrontation hung precariously, Statham's fury brewing like a tempest, each stride reverberating through the very heart of the gym. The woman's imploring gaze remained unwavering, her stooped silhouette a wordless entreaty as the techno rhythm stumbled, the gym's heartbeat quickening with the anticipation of an impending confrontation. Vince's cackle, sharp and biting, sliced through the atmosphere, his chiseled visage oblivious to the storm gathering around him, his bravado a reckless wager against Statham's relentless wrath. The taunts of the affluent client rose, a cruel wave crashing around them, yet the clenched jaws and wide eyes of the less fortunate client hinted at an undercurrent, a quiet insurrection brewing in the darkness, separate from the turmoil that had just unfolded. The gym, pulsating with the energy of effort and iron, became a theater of conflict, Statham's aura a blazing force poised to challenge Vince's dominance. His fury a clarion call that captivated every ear with a vow of retribution too potent to dismiss. The tension ignited, the air buzzing with an electric charge, the woman's quaking figure a pulse within the tempest. The gym's mirrored surfaces capturing a confrontation that would scorch the evening, drawing onlookers further into a narrative ready to erupt with a wrath that could rattle the core of Vince's faltering dominion. Vince's defiance, his taunting cackle echoing through the polished urban fitness center, sparked a tempest in Jason Statham's mind, his thoughts racing back weeks, a taut reel of Vince's dubious deeds unfurling like a gritty cinematic narrative. The gym's neon lights emitted an unsettling glow, weights clattering like far-off thunder, rubber mats vibrating beneath swift movements as Statham remembered the trainer's harsh dominion, his biting remarks slicing through the atmosphere. "Poor rats don't lift," Vince had mocked a frail teenager in tattered sneakers, his voice a sharp edge cutting through the boy's dignity, as affluent patrons, draped in high-end fashion, laughed condescendingly, their protein shakes shimmering beneath the mirror's glow. The fitness center, a polished arena of exertion and iron, throbbed with Vince's unrestrained hubris, his bias a toxic influence permeating every nook, ensnaring listeners in a tangled web of deception that coiled like serpents through the gym's core. Statham's eyes narrowed in that moment, his resolve a quiet promise as he observed Vince lavishing attention on a wealthy socialite, sweetly uttering, "You're my star, darling," while carelessly brushing aside a struggling client's desperate request for help with a mere flick of his wrist. The pattern emerged with stark clarity, as Vince hunted the defenseless, zeroing in on the fragile figure now quaking in the gym's harsh illumination. Her hunched figure reflected the remnants of those Statham had witnessed being shattered. The atmosphere grew heavy with trepidation, as less fortunate patrons murmured in hushed tones behind the benches, their words coarse and unrefined, a quiet insurrection stifled by fear. "Vince is a parasite," a slender janitor whispered, his tone barely above a murmur, as his gaze flitted away from the trainer's piercing stare. "He drains us completely," a single mom growled, her knuckles white, their Hollywood-level cries a faint spark in the shadows, distinct from the rich client's jeers that had scorched the gym moments ago, each word a hook drawing listeners deeper into the brewing tempest. One evening, a medical student named Liam found himself confronting Statham by the lockers, his voice trembling with desperation, eyes alight with a fervent urgency. "Vince's powders are poison," he whispered, shoving a crumpled lab report into Statham's hands. The pages screamed of toxic fillers masquerading as protein, a deceit that could sicken the gym's faithful. Liam's words, incisive and precise, sliced through the din of the gym. His fear was tangible as he revealed his unsuccessful efforts to bring Vince to light. His absence of influence felt like a heavy chain. Statham's jaw clenched, the report a ticking bomb, evidence sparking like fireworks in his thoughts. Yet he nodded. His silence stood as a solemn promise to unleash it at just the right time, the woman's humiliation now serving as the spark to ignite the impending explosion. On yet another evening, Statham found himself lingering near the gym's office, the neon lights casting a muted glow as Vince's voice seeped through the door, punctuated by a self-satisfied chuckle on the other end of the line. "Your steroids are my treasure, champion," the supplier bragged, his voice slick with avarice, recounting the steroid deliveries that sustained Vince's sculpted exterior. Statham's phone, nestled against the crack, absorbed every utterance, the recording a ticking bomb he tucked away, his weeks of surveillance now a formidable arsenal, his silence a sharpened blade, meticulously crafted for this impending confrontation. The gym buzzed with an undercurrent of dread, its whispered complaints echoing the sentiment that Vince played favorites. From a battered teen, a fire surged through Statham's veins, igniting a resolve that burned brighter than the pulse of neon, setting him apart from the chaos that had enveloped the gym just moments prior. The flashback burned into Statham's consciousness, the woman's trembling figure a guiding light anchoring his watch to her suffering, Vince's tyranny a scourge he had sworn to eradicate. The fitness center buzzed with the clatter of weights and the murmur of secrets, serving as a crucible where the air was heavy with Statham's amassed evidence. Lab results, a phone call, biting jabs, a tempest ready to break. The tale surged forward, deceit coiling like serpents, evidence igniting like explosives, captivating the audience with a narrative of retribution poised to dismantle Vince's dominion in a confrontation too powerful to overlook. Vince's cackle, a sharp and biting sound echoing through the polished urban fitness center, ignited Jason Statham's fury, his voice bursting forth like a cosmic explosion, ripping through the gym's vibrant atmosphere. "You're a con man, Vince. Your empire's built on poison and lies," he roared, his words a cataclysm that shredded the trainer's smug facade, unleashing a twist that jolted the crowd like a lightning strike. The gym's heartbeat waned, weights resonating like fading thunder, rubber mats still beneath frozen feet, neon lights flickering like a waning star as the woman, eyes widening, grip slackening on the treadmill, remained frozen, her quaking figure a lighthouse amid the turmoil. The fitness center, its mirrors echoing a tempest of disbelief, trembled under the gravity of Statham's revelation, ensnaring the audience with a truth that shone more fiercely than the gym's fluorescent lights, each word a dagger slicing through Vince's dominion to nothingness. Statham's gaze, a searing furnace, fixed on Vince, his voice resonating with a threatening intensity. "Your powders are toxic sludge," he snarled, brandishing the medical student Liam's lab tests. The pages were a guillotine, slicing through the trainer's lies and exposing protein powders laced with poisonous fillers. The audience inhaled sharply, affluent patrons staggered, their high-end attire feeling burdensome as their mouths fell agape. "Our trainer's a fraud," a tech bro spat, his voice a venomous whisper, while a socialite gasped, "He's been robbing us blind." Their elitist astonishment, a sharp turn from their mockery of discarding the charity case. Just moments ago, a sound reverberated through the gym, setting itself apart from the murmurs of the less fortunate clients, their eyes shining with a sense of vindication, each gasp a hook burrowing deeper into the listener's soul. Statham's onslaught continued unabated, his voice a ceaseless force as he commandeered the gym's speakers, unleashing a recorded call that resonated like a foreboding toll. "Vince's muscles are nothing but a deception," the supplier's slick voice boasted. "My roids keep him loaded." The disclosure of steroid use struck with the force of a sledgehammer, leaving jaws agape and the faces of affluent clients drained of color as their idol's sculpted physique disintegrated into a mere illusion of chemicals. "He's a fraud," a sharply dressed executive spat, his voice laced with contempt, while a yoga influencer inhaled sharply. "We believed in him." The atmosphere in the gym grew dense, the flickering neon lights casting an unpredictable glow, while the woman's eyes widened, mirroring a flicker of hope as Statham's revelation burst forth, a brilliant explosion that obliterated Vince's deceit. The audience's shock surged like a tidal wave, enveloping each listener in its unfiltered power. Statham advanced, his growl tearing apart Vince's sense of self-worth. He thundered, "You spit on the poor, grovel to wealth." His words a flamethrower igniting the trainer's classist facade. He detailed taunts like, "Poor rats don't lift," which had devastated the gym's most vulnerable, the woman's hunched pain resonating like a living echo. The impoverished clients, their jaws clenched, remained still, until the stillness shattered with a shout from a wiry teenager, declaring, "We knew he was filth." His voice, a rough-edged weapon, intertwined with a mother's wail, echoed as he taunted us. Their vindicated outbursts, a stark contrast to the rich client's betrayed gasps and the earlier jeers of "clear out, dead weight," surged like wildfire, solidifying Vince's disgrace in the eyes of all. The gym's chaos became a crucible, ensnaring listeners with a reckoning too intense to overlook. Vince, sweat glistening on his forehead, stuttered, "It's all nonsense." His voice a frantic whisper, his once confident demeanor fraying like a worn fabric. Yet Statham's gaze, sharp and unyielding, quelled his desperate attempts at defense, the whispers of the crowd crescendoing into a thunderous uproar, the allegiance of the affluent wavering as they gripped their shakes, while the voices of the less fortunate surged like an unstoppable wave. The woman's hold on the treadmill eased, her eyes shimmering with an emerging resilience, Statham's relentless assault a guiding light amidst the gym's flickering neon. His disclosures, lab results, supplier conversations, and observed brutality, a tempest that ravaged Vince's domain. The storytelling ignited, the truth bursting forth with the intensity of a supernova. Vince's dominion collapsing like a black hole, each word a flicker that drew listeners further into a tale of justice. The fitness center, its weight still, its mirrors casting reflections of a fallen monarch, emerged as a battleground, Statham's voice echoing like a battle cry that vowed to turn Vince's deceptions to dust, captivating every onlooker with a twist that blazed too fiercely to extinguish. The woman's silent hope a heartbeat amidst the tempest, the gym's rhythm quickening toward a climax that would scorch the evening. Jason Statham's fury, a seething force ignited by Vince's insolence, burst forth in a thunderous roar that reverberated through the polished urban fitness center like a cataclysmic tremor. "Walk away, Vince, or I'll torch your name across the city," he thundered, his words a flamethrower incinerating the trainer's arrogance, the gym's neon crackling like lightning as Vince's chiseled mask imploded, weights hummed like fading storms, rubber mats silent under the crowd's frozen feet, the air a crucible of justice blazing like a meteor, hooking every listener with a humiliation that scorched the night. The woman, shoulders lifting, eyes gleaming with a dawning strength, stood as a beacon, her trembling form from moments ago now a quiet pillar amidst the chaos, the gym's mirrors reflecting a tyrant's fall. Every pulse a testament to Statham's unyielding wrath. Rich clients, their betrayal a jagged wound, surged forward, eyes blazing, their designer gear heavy as they unleashed a torrent of elitist fury. "You sold us lies," a tech bro bellowed, hurling his protein shake to the floor, the splatter a punctuation of disgust, while a socialite shrieked, "You're a fraud, we're done," her voice a venomous lash, their shouts a stark pivot from the gasps of "Our trainer's a sham." In the moments before, poorer clients, long silenced, erupted in triumphant chants, fists pumping like pistons. "Burn, fraud," a wiry teen roared, his voice a gritty spear, joined by a mom's cry, "You're nothing now." Their voices a roaring tide, contrasted the rich client's betrayed shouts and the earlier jeers of "Dump the charity case," each chant a hook sinking deeper into the listener's core. The gym's chaos a symphony of retribution that gripped every viewer. Vince, sweat dripping like a broken faucet, faced Statham, his knees buckling, his defiance shattered into fragments of a fallen king, his trembling lips parted, eyes darting like a cornered animal. The once smug trainer now a quivering wreck under Statham's predatory glare, the gym's air thick with the stench of his disgrace, the crowd's fury peaked, rich clients tossing their shakes, poorer ones surging forward, their eyes blazing with vindication, their collective roar a tidal wave that drowned Vince's fading echo. The woman's gleaming eyes held steady, her lifted shoulders a silent vow, the gym's pulse racing as Statham's presence loomed, a colossus ready to crush the last of Vince's reign. Every moment a spark that hooked listeners with a saga too raw to ignore. Statham's voice, a blade forged in fury, cut through the din, pointing to the woman with a demand that rang like a death knell. "Beg her forgiveness now," he snarled, his Hollywood-level commander guillotine poised to sever Vince's pride. The gym quaking under the weight of his ultimatum. The rich client's shouts, "We trusted you, snake," blended with the poorer client's chants, "Crash and burn." Their voices a cacophony of betrayal and triumph, distinct from the gasps and jeers that had scorched the air before. Each cry a testament to the empire's ruin. The woman, her frame no longer hunched, stood taller, her presence a quiet fire. In the gym's flickering neon, Statham's threat a supernova that sealed Vince's humiliation before all. The crowd surge a living pulse that gripped every listener with its ferocity. The narration blazed, justice roaring like a meteor, Vince's pride exploding like shrapnel under Statham's relentless assault. The fitness center, its weight silent, its mirrors reflecting a shattered tyrant, stood as a battlefield, the air thick with the ashes of Vince's reign. Every word a spark that fueled the storm. The crowd's roars, rich and poor united in their fury, surged like a hurricane. The woman's gleaming eyes a beacon of hope amidst the wreckage. Statham's voice a war cry that promised to raise Vince's lies to dust. The gym's chaos, alive with a clank of iron and the crackle of neon, pulsed with a reckoning too fierce to contain, hooking viewers with a humiliation that burned brighter than the stars. The woman's quiet strength a heartbeat in the tempest. The fitness center a crucible where justice blazed, ready to ignite the final fall of a fraud who dared to mock the weak. The sleek urban fitness center, its neon glowing with triumph, quaked as Vince's empire crumbled. His once smug reign now ash under Jason Statham's relentless fury. The trainer, broken, choked out a plea. His voice a shattered wreck. "I beg your forgiveness," he rasped to the woman, his face ashen, hands quivering like leaves in a gale. Then turned to Statham, eyes hollow. "I'm a fool," he whimpered, his Hollywood-level apology a gutted ruin of his swagger. The gym's air thick with the stench of his defeat. Weights sighed like spent storms, rubber mats silent under the crowd's surge, the mirrors reflecting a fallen tyrant. Every crack in Vince's facade hooking listeners with a surrender that blazed like a collapsing star. The gym's pulse racing with a justice too fierce to contain. The woman, her chin rising, gaze fierce, stood firm. Her trembling from moments ago now a distant echo, her empowerment a beacon in the gym's electric hum. Statham's voice, sharp as a forged blade, cut through the chaos. His encouragement a Hollywood-level clarion. "Your steel, stronger than this fraud," he urged, his words a spark igniting her resolve, inspiring her to grip the treadmill with newfound fire. Ready to train on, the gym's neon pulsed with her quiet strength. The crowd's eyes locked on her, their support a tidal wave lifting her spirit. Every moment a testament to a victory that gripped viewers with its raw, unyielding power. The fitness center a crucible where respect roared like a tsunami. The crowd erupted, their cheers a vibrant symphony, distinct from the venomous jeers and betrayed gasps that had scorched the air before. Rich clients, their betrayal softened, clapped fiercely. A tech bro shouting, "You're our hero." His voice a resonant boom, joined by a socialite's cry, "She's got heart." Her applause a rare nod of respect. Poorer clients, long silenced, roared with triumph, fists raised like banners, "She's unstoppable." A wiry teen bellowed, his gritty voice a lance, while a mom cheered, "You're a warrior." Her words soaring, their Hollywood-level cheers a stark contrast to the chants of burned fraud, and gasps of "Our trainer's a sham." For moments past, each cry a hook sinking deeper into the listeners' souls. The gym's unity a wildfire that burned bright. Vince slunk away, his face a ghostly mask, hands quivering as he shuffled toward the lockers. His cruel reign rejected by the gym's beating heart, the crowd's cheers drowning his fading echo. The woman's fierce gaze held steady, her lifted chin a silent vow, the gym's air alive with the clank of iron and the pulse of triumph. Statham's presence a colossus that had shattered a tyrant's throne. The rich client's claps, once elitist, now joined the poorer client's roars, a unified wave that swept through the fitness center, distinct from the jeers of "Dump the charity case" and the gasps that had gripped the gym before. Every voice a testament to a new dawn. The narration surged, respect roaring like a tsunami, Vince's reign shattering like glass under Statham's unyielding justice. The gym, its weight silent, its neon glowing with victory, stood as a battlefield reborn. The air thick with the ashes of cruelty. Every word a spark that fueled the storm. The crowd's cheers, rich and poor entwined, pulsed like a heartbeat. The woman's rising strength a beacon that lit the mirrors. Statham's words a war cry that echoed through the gym's core, hooking listeners with an apology that burned brighter than the stars. The fitness center, alive with a hum of triumph and the crackle of neon, quaked with a reckoning too fierce to fade. The woman's fierce gaze a vow of resilience. The gym's pulse a symphony of justice that gripped every viewer. Ready to ignite a legacy that would sear the night, the crowd's roars a tidal wave that promised a future forged in respect. Unyielding and eternal, the sleek urban fitness center, its neon flaring with victory, surged with a new dawn as the manager stormed through the crowd. His boots pounding the rubber mats, slamming a clipboard onto a bench with a crack that echoed like a gavel. "Your history, Vince, equality rules now," he roared, his Hollywood-level decree a thunderbolt banishing the fallen trainer, vowing fairness for every client, rich and poor, the gym's pulse racing with a justice that blazed like a comet. Weights pulsed like a heartbeat, mirrors gleaming with triumph. The air alive with a clank of iron as Vince's cruel reign dissolved into ash, hooking listeners with a revival that surged like a wildfire. The fitness center a crucible where cruelty's chains snapped like brittle bones. Every moment a testament to a community reborn, clients, ignited by Statham's stand, rallied as one, their unity a blazing phoenix rising from Vince's wreckage, inspired to fund the woman's training, her eyes shining, stance bold, a beacon of resilience amidst the gym's electric hum. Rich clients, their betrayal now a distant sting, waved memberships high, a tech bro shouting, "You're our strength," his voice a resonant anthem, joined by a socialite's cry, "You've got this." Her clap a fervent vow, poorer clients once silenced, raised fists like torches. Their chants a triumphant roar, "We've got your back," a wiry teen bellowed, his gritty voice a clarion, while a mom cheered, "You're a force," her words, soaring, their Hollywood-level cries distinct from the cheers of "She's a champ." In the moments before, the chants of "Burn fraud," in the fury prior, and the jeers of "Dump the charity case," that had scarred the gym, each shout a hook sinking deeper into the listeners' souls. The crowd surge a tidal wave of support that gripped every viewer. Jason Statham, his mission complete, gave a subtle nod, his steely gaze a silent seal of approval. His presence a colossus anchoring the gym's rebirth. No words needed to cement his victory. The woman's bold stance a mirror to his unyielding resolve. The crowd, rich and poor entwined, pressed forward, their eyes blazing with a shared vow, chanting, "Together we rise," a unified anthem that echoed off the gym's gleaming walls, distinct from the gasps, jeers, and chants that had fueled the storm. Their pledge to support every member a fire that burned bright, rejecting the shadow of Vince's cruelty with a ferocity that hooked listeners with its raw power. The woman, her shining eyes locked on the crowd, stood as a symbol of their strength, her journey a spark that lit the gym's core. The fitness center alive with the pulse of a new era, every cheer a testament to a community forged in justice. The narration roared, unity surging like a wildfire, cruelty's chains shattering like brittle bones under Statham's iron will. The gym, its weight silent, its neon flaring with victory, stood as a sanctuary reborn, the air thick with the embers of Vince's defeat, every word ablaze that fueled the storm. The crowd's chants, a symphony of triumph, pulsed like a heartbeat. The woman's bold stance a beacon that lit the mirrors, Statham's nod a war cry that echoed through the gym's soul, hooking listeners with a redemption that burned brighter than the stars. The fitness center, its clank of iron and flare of neon a hymn to resilience, quaked with a revival too fierce to fade. The crowd's unified roar a vow to lift every member, forging a legacy that gripped every viewer, ready to ignite a future where cruelty found no foothold. Unyielding and eternal, the sleek urban fitness center, its neon pulsing like a beacon, thrummed with a triumphant hymn as Jason Statham stood tall, his voice a blazing beacon that sliced through the gym's radiant glow. "Crush bullies or they'll crush you," he roared, his Hollywood-level call a thunderbolt urging integrity over cruelty. Each word a forged blade severing the last echoes of Vince's reign, hooking listeners with a truth that burned brighter than the stars. The gym's weights murmured like a victory hymn, mirrors shimmering with the light of a new era. The air alive with a clank of iron as Statham's resolve cemented a legacy. Every syllable a spark that ignited a tempest of respect. the fitness center a sanctuary where justice blazed like a supernova. Gripping viewers with a saga too fierce to fade, Statham turned to the crowd, his gaze a steel anchor, his voice soaring with vivid, quotable fire. Forge a family, not a battlefield, he urged, inspiring a future of respect. His words a radiant call to unity that echoed off the gym's gleaming walls, distinct from the encouragement of "You're steel, stronger than this fraud," or the funding chants of "You're our strength." Moments before, the woman, her eyes blazing, hands steady, stood as a symbol of their journey, her bold stance a testament to a resilience that lit the gym's core, her presence a quiet fire that hooked listeners with its unyielding strength. The crowd, rich and poor entwined, leaned in, their eyes gleaming with a shared vow, the gym's pulse racing with a promise that surged like a tempest. Every moment a vow to honor her fight. Statham strode out, his boots carving a gritty path through the gym's radiant glow, his exit a cinematic seal on a battle won. No injuries to mar his colossal stride, the mirrors reflecting a warrior who'd shattered a tyrant's throne. The clients, their voices a unified roar, surged forward, rich members raising memberships like banners, a tech bro shouting, "We stand as one." His voice a resonant anthem, joined by a socialite's cry, "You've shown us the way." Her words soaring, poorer clients, slamming lockers with defiant clangs, roar their pledge, a teen bellowing, "No more tyrants." His gritty voice a lance, a mom adding, "We rise together." Their Hollywood-level vows distinct from the chants of, "We've got your back." In the revival, the cheers of, "She's a champ." In the surrender, the chants of "Burn," "Fraud." In the fall, and the jeers of "Dump the charity case," that had scarred the gym, each cry a hook sinking deeper into the listeners' souls, their actions a symphony that gripped.